This is Patricia Ho. So you lived in California, London, and Egypt for a while. So what brought you to those places? What drew you there? And what was it like being a woman in the tech world there? And were you in the tech world at the time, or?
I was not.
Okay. What were you doing there?
I was just exploring.
Oh, cool. That's great.
I left Los Angeles after it's my last year in college, and I just wanted to travel. And I wanted to find a way to do it where I could just sustain myself abroad. So I tried to find different ways to make a living. And I thought that would be teaching English, but it eventually became teaching kite surfing. And that eventually led to a business, which led to other businesses. Some of which went really well, some of which went less well. And I found myself back in Los Angeles after the Arab Spring. It's kind of a good reason to leave Egypt at that point.
Was it difficult being a woman in Egypt at that point?
No. I think people have a lot of misconceptions about what the Middle East is like. It's not as oppressive as a lot of people think, but on a day-to-day level, it depends also on what strata of class you're in, but I don't have to get into that really. But it wasn't very difficult to be a woman in Egypt. Kind of, I always feel the golden rule is if you're kind to people, people are kind to you, and it just doesn't matter. Nothing else really matters beyond that, and that's pretty much carried me through everywhere I've been. So
very cool. How did you get started kite surfing?
It was one of those things where I saw it happening in front of me, and I thought to myself, that's pretty cool, but there's probably no way that I could do that physically because I'm small. And I met somebody in Vietnam. This is where I saw it. I met somebody in Vietnam. He was sort of I would say he was probably in his early 60s, and he had the same build as me. He was a pretty small guy, and it turned out he was an ex-professor of physics from UCSD.
What?
And he and I became fast friends, and he said, you know what, if I can do it, you can do it. And that led to some introductions, and we did some sort of barter where I kind of worked off lessons, because for me at the time they were really expensive. And then one thing led to another, and I became a kite surfer. You can become one of those. And a lot of opportunities open when you're not really expecting them to.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, leading into something else, when did you decide to get into technology, and what sort of the impetus for you to get involved?
I think it's one of those things, if you're drawn towards technology, you've always kind of been drawn toward technology, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that's something that you always wanted to do as a profession. I think that I was rather fortunate that my father was kind of forward-thinking, and he saw that that was going to be something that was going to be important. So he purchased a computer for us. The very first computer we had was an IBM 286.
Wow.
And that was really my first computer. And that computer stayed with us for a really long time. And the very first experiences with the internet were AOL, and it was pretty much then where I started to get interested about just that, a little bit of that world. I spent a lot of time on the computer, a lot of time on the computer. And the very first site I ever built was a GeoCities site.
Oh yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah, but I think it was one of those things where it was a hobby to, learn how to do HTML and build a site, and then, got interested in other things, and I didn't come back to it. But I was always pretty well versed in computers, so a lot of the work that I've done in the past required a pretty strong literacy in computers. So, yeah, every job that I've done, I've had to touch in that area in some way or another. And especially running a business, you have to set up a lot of those infrastructures yourself. And I think really in programming, that's where I got, where I started to see that this is something that I could possibly do for a living. When I built a full-fledged invoicing, accounting, and inventory system, I realized, this is probably something that I could do.
This is something I could continue with. Yeah. Very great. That's cool. So you took classes through General Assembly, which is a website to help entrepreneurs and startup businesses sort of get their, entrepreneurs more to get their feet wet and learn the skills that they need to be in their industry, right? Is that correct?
I think GA is it's a technical training school. They offer a lot of different classes, and it's not just for entrepreneurs. It's for anybody who has an interest in learning new skills, particularly in the technology field. But I guess I wouldn't be comfortable giving you the entire mission statement.
Yeah, of course.
General Assembly, I don't really know, but they do get you up to speed in the latest technologies fairly quickly. Yeah.
So why did you choose General Assembly? How did you find them? Why did you choose them, and what was it like?
I did a pretty intensive search on development boot camps, and the boot camps that I was looking at were primarily in San Francisco, but I extended my search to other cities, and I didn't know actually that there was a program in Los Angeles. And when I found out, I thought I would give it a look, and it took me a couple of info sessions to actually commit to doing it, because it's something. You don't just leave your job and everything.
It's 8 to 12 weeks, right? It's long.
It's 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
It's 5 days a week. The actual instruction hours are between 9 and 5:30.
So it's a commitment.
Yeah, but a lot of people end up staying the entire time it's open. So that's from 9 until 10:30 p.m. A lot of people came on the weekends. And I think if you really want to succeed you would put in that time. And a lot of people did. And it's been about a month or so since our last day, and a good portion of people have found employment in development, which is really cool.
You got a job, right? Straight out of there too, didn't you? Wow. So what do you like about your new job? What are you doing, and what do you like about your new job?
I am a junior developer at Logical Reality Design. I do full stack development with them. It's basically sitting and coding for hours on end, and I know that probably doesn't sound great for some people, but I love it. I don't just like it, I love it. And another thing that I do is I work with Red Bread in Culver City, and I am their head of web development, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I actually met the co-founder of Red Bread at General Assembly, and we really hit it off, and we just started to work together, and then one thing led to another, and now I'm a part of their team, which is amazing.
So do you feel like your dreams are sort of coming true with the jobs that you're getting and the opportunities that have opened to you now, or?
I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. I had a faith that, or just I believe that I would be able to make that happen eventually, but I didn't think that it would happen this fast. So it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. What's the hardest part about switching careers?
I don't know. I've done it so many times. I've done it so many times. I guess the hardest part of switching careers is that unknown. You have like a huge unknown factor of what could happen, what may not happen. Is it going to work out? And that could get in your way. I think that once you decide to make that leap, you have to really commit. You can't just kind of do it halfway. If you really want to succeed, you really have to commit. And that's kind of something that I feel has been a theme in a lot of the things that I've done. I think with kite surfing, if you want to do a trick and you want to do like a back loop or something like that, or a kite loop, if you don't commit to it, you end up just eating it. And I think that's the same for a lot of things in life. If you don't commit to it, you just can't. You're not going to get there. Or you're not going to get there as fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how much chance there is in those sorts of decisions. I think that when you have a determination to do something, you find a way to make it work. And the first way may not work, the second way may not work, but if you keep trying and trying new ways to get there, you're eventually going to find the right path to getting to where you want to get. So I think there's less chance and more perseverance in success.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good answer. I like that. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? And none of those like Mitch Hedberg, celebrating the 10th anniversary of you asking me this question kind of answers.
In 10 years?
5 or 10.
Oh, wow. I tend not to think that far ahead because so many things can change in such a short period of time. In 10 years, I'll probably be doing something completely different. I think.
There's not a lot of women in tech right now. Why do you think that is? And what's the best and worst part of being a woman in the technological world right now?
I've met a lot of extremely capable developers that just happen to be women. And I've met a lot of developers that are extremely capable and they just happen to be men. What is it like to be a woman in tech? I would say no different than just any other person in tech. Being new to something is being new to something regardless of your gender.
Yeah.
But I guess I've been fortunate to be working with or just mutually selective companies where I end up gravitating towards companies that gender is not an issue, and it's not a topic of discussion. And I think that the companies that have been interested in hiring me have gravitated to me because that is not also an issue, I think. But I hear it is an issue. And it probably is. It probably is an issue.
So you've been fortunate not to experience it, though?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So for the people who have experienced it, what do you think would be a good way for people to encourage more women to get involved in the tech industry?
I think I have a hard time with the idea of just selecting one gender or the other to participate more in the industry. I think that it's one of those things where not just women should be encouraged, everyone who's the slightest interest of working in technology should be encouraged to do so. And that really could mean anyone. You know, there are a lot of people that come into tech a little bit later in life, and they may happen to be white males. But even then, that's a huge barrier to make that shift into the tech world at a later age. But I encourage people to do that no matter what their age or what their gender, women, men, old, young alike. It's really something that everyone can get into at any stage in their life.
Do you have any advice for people who do want to do that?
Determination. Because you're going to fail a lot. There is a poster that's that was up on the wall of General Assembly coming from the last class, and it said, code, period, fail, period, repeat, period. That's the process. And you got to be okay with that. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'll never be a coder. I'm not good at fill in the blank.
Insert problem here.
Yeah, and effectively they're deciding that they're no good at it, even before they've really given it a chance. If you have an interest in it, it's just keeping at it.
Yeah.
If you keep at it, you can do it. Like, I don't run marathons, right? I don't run marathons, and if you ask me to run a marathon today, I would probably not be able to do that.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'll never be able to run a marathon? That's not true. If I train, I'll be able to run a marathon.
Yeah.
Will I be a world champion marathon runner? I probably wouldn't. But that doesn't mean I couldn't be a good marathon runner.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's kind of the same. Like, no, I could never do that. And if that's the attitude, that's going to be true, right?
Yeah. So it's like patience and perseverance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two main things that'll get you through.
Everything.
Yeah, absolutely everything, not just tech.
Yeah.
Who and what is your what inspires you to keep continuing in the tech world? What gets you up every day? What do you find inspirational that helps you continue with your work? Are there people you look up to that you want to,
No, there are a lot of people that have the people they aspire to be like, and I can't say that I have somebody that, I wish I was like this person. Every day I get up and go to work, or not go to work, and sit down at home and code, which is another great thing about this job.
You can work from home?
Yeah.
A lot, yeah.
Sometimes I can, which is really nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice little thing, little perk.
Little perk.
But the thing that I think keeps me going, I just started. How can I code better today?
Yeah.
That's it. It's not about trying to reach sort of the upper echelons of the coding world. I don't really have those sorts of ambitions. My ambitions are sort of, I guess, self-reflections.
How can I use the best of my abilities?
Yeah.
How can I get? Yeah.
How can I develop my abilities today to be better than what they were yesterday? And if I keep doing that, I'll be improving in some way or another. If I try to measure myself against somebody else, I think that will probably be an extremely frustrating thing.
Yeah. Something you're never going to quite reach.
Yeah. That'll probably be really frustrating. I don't want to be frustrated. I mean,
it's hard. You're already coding. Yeah, very cool. Cool. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to add, or just any other thoughts you have?
I would say that whatever it is you want to do, and if it's tech, that's great. If it's something else, if it's, learning an instrument, or I don't know, whatever it is you want to do, I think that the best advice I've ever gotten was just start. Just start. And you just do a little.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Everyone sucks at the beginning. Like, people are like, oh, well, I'm not good at it, or I don't think I'll be good at it, so I'm not going to do it. But everybody sucks at the beginning. So, that's okay.
Stop being so hard on yourself,
yeah.
basically.
It's okay to not be good at something. Everyone's not good at something at the very beginning. Yeah. There are very few people who are just so talented that they can just sit down and know everything. I don't think that's possible. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Patricia. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all of your insights. It was really useful and helpful. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been a pleasure.
Me too. This is Lindy Tolbert with iGirl Tech News. Be sure to follow us at iGirl Tech News on Twitter and Instagram. We also have a website that you can go to, so feel free to check those out.